Welcome to last week's news, where I tell you last week's news, or at least the parts that I can make funny. Our first story. The FDA has finally approved the Pfizer vaccines, which means, hooray, we can now all start getting vaccinated. Oh, wait. They've also been telling people not to take ivermectin. It's an anti-parasite drug that people are taking too much of. It's funny, putting random shit in your body against your doctor's wishes used to be a real left-wing news. They'd be doing coffee enemas and stuff like that. Now it's the right. It's crazy how stuff flips. Apparently Trump is the one who's at fault for people not taking vaccines, even though last year it was Kamala Harris saying she wouldn't get vaccinated, and Trump recently at one of his rallies got booed by his own audience for saying people should get vaccinated. But it's him. The big news, what everybody's really excited about, OnlyFans is doing porn again. Hooray! People are saying they came to their senses. Honestly, I think this is like Coke creating new Coke and then bringing back old Coke. It was all just a ploy to bring back any of the simps who had gotten bored. California suing Blizzard for more, saying they suppressed evidence, which I get that that's illegal, but honestly I don't see how that can be a crime. Like, if I commit a crime, you can bet your ass I'm going to suppress any evidence I have of it. It's like California saying, I'm not mad you molested those girls, I'm mad you lied about it. Delta Airlines says they won't protect the pay of any employees who miss work due to corona if they're unvaccinated. Also, the unvaccinated will have to pay an additional $200 per month to be on the health plan. I think Delta's just trying to protect their brand after what happened to Corona beer sales last year. The Taliban has been urging women to stay home because they're worried their forces aren't trained enough and won't know how to treat them. They're basically like, no, you should stay home because the new guy might rape you. I'd also like to urge women to stay home. I'm worried about some of the evil men out there that might do something to them. And while they're staying home, they may as well work on dinner. And if they're going to be making dinner, they may as well clean up after it. And while they're cleaning up, they may as well iron some of my shirts. Apparently, the CIA held a meeting with the Taliban to discuss the August 31st exit date. So we literally do negotiate with terrorists. The source I heard mentioned this and said it like it wasn't even big news. Negotiating with terrorists isn't even a blip for us at this point. This was news before the 31st, but Biden said that the exit date depended on the Taliban cooperating and allowing access to the airport. The US was essentially like, please, can we leave the country, Taliban? Jake Paul beat some boxer, so that's pretty neat. They went 8 rounds. In other news, man who can afford the best trainers does well in sport. You don't get that far in the insufferability game without having at least a little stick-to-itness. Kanye dropped an album, but he claims that Universal dropped it without his consent. I'm with him. The universe does a lot of things without my consent, like making me bald or giving me sisters. A bunch of anti-vaccine old people are dying, and some in the media are really enjoying that fact. What they don't mention is all the anti-vax people who aren't dying. Nobody ever talks about the anti-death people who are dying. There's gotta be some sort of conspiracy there. Hurricane Ida has been fucking up Louisiana. I say we go full Katrina, get some martial law up in there. I don't know, unless you really love crawdads, why live in Louisiana? I don't get it. The US has allegedly completed the Afghan withdrawal. The Taliban celebrated by making a bunch of memes and posting them on Twitter. Yeah, the Taliban has a meme czar, and honestly, I'm here for it. Some fake high school made it onto ESPN playing football against real high schools. This should be a plot of a movie released in 1990. Nobody would watch it now because it doesn't make any points that I can agree with or hate, but boy would it do well in 1990 when things could be funny. China only allows people under the age of 18 to play up to 1 hour per day of video games, which I think is bullshit. I want the 4th grader who makes my Nikes to get to play as many video games as he wants. His work quality might suffer if you take away his downtime. They're also removing the ability for companies to require working 12 hours a day, 6 days per week, which I wonder if that applies to slave labor though. You think the Uyghurs get to take time off like the rest of the labor force? If so, then at least the organ farm livestock get to take a day off every week. That's nice. It at least minimizes the human rights abuses a little bit. People have been arrested for giving out fake vaccine cards. If you don't know what that is, it's like a fake ID, but instead of for getting turnt, it's for being allowed to eat at restaurants or use your gym. Billie Eilish has been accused of stealing a song that was never even released, which if that's the case, I want to say that Michael Jackson stole the idea for Bad from a song I wrote. It was about how bad I felt after being touched by Michael Jackson. Texas has banned all abortions after 6 weeks. Essentially, they've made it legal to sue somebody for getting an abortion, even if you're unrelated to the situation. And the Supreme Court refused to block the law. The good news is that we're getting one step closer to a civil war, though, so all you history buffs better get excited to start being part of it. In our final story, Joe Rogan got the coof, and people somehow think that makes him wrong about corona. The good news is that he'll be fine because he's rich and works out excessively. And that's the news. Thanks for listening. Have a good day. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, other sign-off stuff people say. Good night.